So do you also use gravity forms for your business? Then this video is definitely for you. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly Connect, and in this video we are going to understand how to notify team on Google Chat for gravity forms submission. So with here I'm running an edutech company and we regularly conduct workshops and sessions for our company, and we use gravity forms to get the registrations for the same. So now what I want is that as soon as a new form submission is made in my gravity forms, which is as soon as we receive a new registration, automatically my team on Google Chat should be notified about the same. So to do this, we are going to create a connection between gravity forms and Google Chat. To create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So do you also wish to learn this process step by step? Then let me take you to my computer screen.
Welcome to my screen, everyone. So as you know, in this tutorial I'll show you how to set up an automation that notifies your team on Google Chat whenever a gravity form submission is received. So this integration ensures that your team stays informed in real time about the form responses. So let's get started with a really simple example. So as I've already mentioned that I use gravity forms to collect the event registrations for my edutech company, right? So as you can see, let's say that this is the event registration form and my name is dummy user, and I'm just going to fill in this registration form and register for an event. So as you can see, all the details which I have entered right over here. So I'm just going to click on next right over here, and we're going to purchase this registration and register for this event. And as you can see that we have successfully registered for this event, and as soon as dummy user registered for this event, you can see that my team on Google Chat is notified about the same. You can see new event registration alert, name dummy user, you can see the contact number, you can see the email, the age, and over here you can see the gender also. So as you can see that my team is successfully notified about the new registration, right? So yes, this is a really helpful trick for your business too if you also use gravity forms. So what I've done is I've simply created a connection between our gravity forms and my Google Chat. So yes, in order to learn this connection step by step, you have to watch this tutorial towards the end. So yes, for that I've simply opened the landing page of Pabbly by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. It is very easy. So as soon as you're going to open the landing page of Pabbly, we are going to get two options. One is sign in and the another one is sign up for free. So if you are a new user, you can click on sign up for free and you're going to get 100 of tasks free every month. But over here I'm an existing user, so I'm going to click on sign in, and as soon as we're going to click on sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps. Over here you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly, but in today's video we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications, which is gravity forms and Google Chat, right? So I'm just going to click on access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connect's account, and as soon as we're going to click on access now, it is opening my dashboard. And to start with this automation, we are going to click on this button which says create workflow, and now it is asking me for the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So over here I want to save the workflow in this folder which is automations, and now I want to name my workflow as this: how to notify team on Google Chat for gravity forms submission, gravity forms to Google Chat. And then we're going to click on create, and as soon as we're going to click on create, it is opening the most important window for automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this we can understand that the trigger is the commander for the workflow and actions for the commands. And as you know that we can have only a single commander but multiple followers, so here we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger. So yes, by this you can finally understand that the actions are response towards the commands given by our trigger. And in order to start with our automation, we have to select our trigger application. So for my trigger application, I'm going to select it as gravity forms because I want that as soon as a new form submission is made in my gravity forms, automatically my workflow should be triggered, right? So I'm going to search for gravity forms and then we're going to select it, and now it is asking me for the trigger event. So basically trigger event is the event on which the workflow will start. So here what I want is that as soon as a new response is received, my workflow should start. And now it has given me a webhook URL. So we're going to use this same webhook URL in order to create a connection between our gravity forms and our Pabbly Connect's workflow. So what we have to do is first we're going to copy this webhook URL, and now we are going to open our gravity forms account. Okay, so as you know that gravity forms is a plugin of WordPress, right? So as you can see that I've successfully opened my gravity forms account, and from here we have to go on this forms, and as you can see all the forms which I've already created, but I'm going to create this automation for this form which is event registration form. So I'm just going to go on this edit of this form so that we can add the webhook URL in this form. So as you can see the button of settings, we have to go on this settings, we are going to scroll and look for webhooks, and as you can can see webbook, so we have to go on this webbooks, and as soon as we're going to come over here to webbook, we are going to click on this button which says add new, and as soon as we're going to click on this add new, it is asking me for the webbook name. So let's say that I'm going to keep this webbook name as test connection. Okay, and now for the request URL, we have to paste the URL which we copied from our workflow. Over here for the request method, we have to keep it as post only, and then for the request format, we have to keep it as JSON. And now we are going to scroll down and click on this button which says save settings, and as soon as we're going to click on the save settings, yes, you can see settings updated. We have successfully added a webbook right over here. So I'm going to show you the webbook which we added right over here. Yes, you can see that we have successfully added this test connection, and now with this we have successfully created a connection between our Gravity Forms account and our Pabbly Connects workflow. But over here you can see that it is saying waiting for a webbook response, and in the notes it is saying do a test submission / record. So in order to capture this webbook response, we have to do a test submission or record, and in order to capture this response, what we have to do is I'm going to open my form again, and we're going to do another test submission with the new details. Okay, so as you can see the button of preview right over here, so we have to go on this preview. We are going to preview this form, and as you can see it is asking me for the details. So I'm just going to enter the details right over here. For the first name, I'm going to keep it as smart. For the last name, we are going to keep it as user. For the email also, I'm going to keep it as smart@pabblytunes.com. Over here for the confirm email, again we are going to enter the same right over here. We're going to move on forward. You can see all the another details. I'm going to click on next right over here, and as soon as I'm going to click on next, it is asking me for the gender. So let's say for the gender, I'm going to keep it as male. For the age, let's say I'm going to keep it as 16 to 24. And now it is saying how did you hear about this webinar. So let's suppose I'm going to keep it as word of mouth. Go to next. Over here we are going to purchase this. I'm going to enter the card details and click on submit, and as soon as I'm going to click on submit, yes, you can see that we have successfully did the test submission. And now what has happened is that Gravity Forms has sent the details of our test submission to our workflow. So I'm just going to open my workflow, and yes, you can see that Pabbly has captured the response for the same. You can see all the details which we entered. You can see the age over here, you can see the gender over here, where you can see all the details. You can see the email, the phone number. We're going to move forward, and you can see, yes, all the details. You can see the address too. You can see the first name and last name. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our trigger step, and now what will happen is that as soon as a new response is received from my Gravity Forms, automatically Pabbly is going to capture this response and trigger the workflow. So now we are going to move forward. What I want is I want to notify my team on Google Chat for new Gravity Forms submission, right? So now for the action application, we are going to select it as Google Chat. So I'm just going to search for Google Chat right over here, and as you can see Google Chats, we're going to select it, and as soon as we're going to select this, it is asking me for the action event. So for the action event, I'm going to select it as create message and click on connect, and as soon as I'm going to click on connect, once again it is asking me for the chat webbook URL, and to get this URL we have this learn more hyperlink. So I'm just going to open this learn more hyperlink in a new tab, and as soon as I'm going to open this, it is redirecting me to the forum of Pabbly Connect, and over here you can see all these steps to get this webbook URL. Okay, so you have to follow this step one by one to get this chat webbook URL. So what we have to do is I'm going to open my chat first, and as you can see that this is the space we want to create this automation for. So what we have to do is we have to go on the space name and then space settings, and after coming on the space settings, you can see apps and integrations. So you have to go on this and then webbooks, and as you can see already a webbook which I've already added, but we're going to add a new. For that I'm going to click on add webbooks, and now it is asking me for the name. So let's say I'm going to keep it as test connection once again. So I'm just going to enter this name. We are going to move on forward, and now it is asking me for the avatar URL. So if you wish, you can definitely add an avatar URL, but I don't wish to add, so I'm going to click on this save, and as soon as we're going to click on save, yes, you can see that we have successfully added this webbook URL. I'm just going to copy this right from here, and then we're going to paste it right over here in our workflow, and after pasting this, it is asking me for the message. So what I want is I want to send a message something like this, right? So I'm just going to enter the message right over here. So yes, you can see that we have successfully entered the message, but you must notice that I haven't entered the name, email, contact, and the details of my registrant right over here. So what we're going to do is we are just going to enter the details which we received from the response of our Gravity Forms, right? But we are not going to copy paste and enter the details or enter it manually, but instead we are going to map it. So you must be wondering what is mapping. So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the data from the previous step, and as you know, our previous step was the trigger step where we selected Gravity Forms as our trigger application. So we're going to map the details from the response of our trigger application only, and as soon as we're going to map these details, automatically my details will turn dynamic and change with every new response received. So over here I'm going to give you an example that it is asking me for the name, right? So let's suppose I'm going going to enter the name right over here manually by typing it like this. Then this will not change with every new response received because this is a static information and I have entered it manually. But let's say that we are going to map this from the previous step. So I'm just going to erase this name right over here and we're going to look for name in the previous response, right? So I'm going to look for it, and as you can see the first name, which is Smart. So let's say we are going to map this from the previous response, then this will definitely change because my previous response will also change. So that's why we do mapping right over here to run our workflow in real time. So as we map Smart, we are going to first put a space right over here and then we're going to map user too. So I'm just going to map user right over here. So I'm going to look for it, and as you can see user, so we're going to map it, which is the last name. And after mapping this, we're going to move on forward towards the contact. So over here we have to enter the phone number of the registrant, right? So I'm just going to look for phone, and as you can see the same, so we're going to enter it. We are going to map the email right over here. I'm going to look for email in the previous response. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for it, and as you can see the same, so we're going to map it. We're going to map the age right over here. I'm going to look for age, and as you can see the same, so we're going to map it. Over here we are going to look for gender. So I'm going to search for it, and as you can see the same, so we're going to map it. And after mapping all of these details, we're going to click on this button which says save and send test request. And as soon as we're going to click on this button, yes, you can see that we have successfully received a positive response, that we successfully sent a notification to our Google chat. Okay, so I'm just going to open my Google chat, and yes, you can see a new notification, new event registration alert, name Smart user, the contact, the email, the age, and the gender. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow, but I'll just test this workflow once, and this time I'm going to give you a real-time example. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open my form once again. We're going to click on preview form, and we're going to do the test submission with the new details to check that if our workflow is running in real time or not. So let's say that we are going to keep the details as this right over here, and after entering these details we are going to move on forward and click on this next. And after clicking on this next, we are going to enter the gender, which is female. For the age, let's say I'm going to keep it as this. Over here I'm going to keep it as this. Click on next right over here, and now I'm going to enter the card details and click on submit. And as you can see that we have successfully did another test submission, and now what has happened is that Gravity Form has sent the details of a test submission to our workflow. Pabbly captured the response, triggered the workflow, and further sent an automated Google chat notification to our team about the new registration. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open my Google chat and check for the new message received, and this time we are not going back to our workflow and clicking on save and send test request. I'll directly open my Google chat right from here, and as you can see that a new message received. You can see the same name, email, you can see the age, the gender, the contact number which we entered, right? So yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow, and it is running perfectly fine in real time too. So now I'll just summarize it for you once. So for the trigger application we selected Gravity Forms. For the trigger event we selected new response. For the action application we selected Google Chat Hangout, and then for the action event we selected create message, because I wanted that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Gravity Forms, automatically my team on Google Chat should be notified about the same. And yes, we were successful with our workflow too. You can see the two notification messages I sent during this video with the help of my workflow. So yes, this was it for the video, and if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video. And for your reference, I'll just clone this workflow and share the workflow link in the description box so that you can access my workflow. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you for watching.
So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can integrate many more applications. So if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find our videos helpful, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.